Today I'm going to tell you a little story about a young programmer named Tammy. Tammy's Sweet 16 is coming up and she wants everyone to be there. In order to easily create the invitations, she made a program that generates an invitation based on the name she inputs as a guest. That way, she can invite all her friends and have the biggest birthday bash ever. Especially her BFF Becky. Not. Becky used to be Tammy's BFF until Becky told the whole school about how she caught Tammy washing her hands 10 times in a row because of her OCD during their super secret slumber party. It was totally uncalled for, even though Tammy told the whole school that Becky looks like a monster without her makeup. But that was different. It was like the truth. Anyway, it's no big deal. All Tammy has to do is not invite Becky to the party. Oh. Since Tammy is too compulsive to not invite Becky to her party, she'll have to create a user-defined exception to prevent herself from doing so. A user-defined exception can be created to prevent an outcome from happening that won't trigger a default exception. The exception must be created in a new class. First things first, a user-defined exception must extend the exception base class. Reference the class that is being inherited with a colon after the class name to accomplish this. Next, a basic exception can be made using 3 constructors. This method is most useful when you want an error message to occur in place of the code in the try-catch loop. The first constructor takes no parameters. Here you can type in the message you want to be displayed when the exception is caught. The second constructor takes a string argument that defines the message from the first constructor. The final constructor takes the string argument and an exception argument, which serves to accept the message and the inner exception that is responsible for the current exception that is taking place. Now that we have our exception, we need to catch the unwanted action and place it where it would occur in the code using a try-catch loop. First up is the try loop. Here you place code that you only want to work as long as it doesn't trigger an exception that you specify in the catch statement. Being a smart debugger, Tammy realized that the exception will not be caught if she uses most combinations of capital and non-capital letters. With this first statement, no matter what way she types Becky, it will all be lowercase and compared to a lowercase version of the string. In this if loop, a new instance of the exception we created will be thrown if the condition is met. The catch statement takes an exception as a parameter, which means that we need to use some function of our exception as an argument inside the loop. Using the message we created seems like a good idea. Now let's see what happens when Tammy tries to invite Becky to her party. Now it might be a good idea to try applying this concept into your own project. There is at least one bug in your project that you can make a user-defined exception for. For example, the scenario where the user chooses a key outside the domain for the menu screen. While a simple if loop is a poor man's fix to this issue, creating a user-defined exception for your project will show that you are willing to go above and beyond to understand C# concepts. I hope you enjoyed learning about exceptions and that you don't need to follow the golden rule if you know C#.